Good evening. 5 adults and 2 school-aged children have been plucked to safety in a dramatic Corio Bay rescue thanks to the new Spirit of Tasmania. In a twist of fate, the ferry's anchored in Geelong, waiting to begin its regular service, turning a skeleton crew into unlikely heroes.
It's the new Spirit of Tasmania waiting for its new home in Devonport to be ready, but last night, where it sits anchored in Geelong's Corio Bay, it became the vessel for a dramatic rescue when skipper Martin Watts spotted 2 objects floating in the water.
We couldn't make out that they actually were people as such.
Light was fading. It was 8:30 p.m. and a recreational ski boat was sinking, so Martin sent out a rescue vessel.
By the time the rescue boat got there, it was dark and we couldn't see anything in the water.
But crews found 5 adults and 2 school-aged children, all treading water next to the capsized boat. Another rescue boat was launched before all 7 were pulled from the water.
They were in shock. Well and truly shocked. They were cold. And they were, grateful, very grateful.
The Coast Guard then brought them to shore, where they were met by paramedics. The 2 children and a man in his 20s were taken to Geelong Hospital. All were stable. The other 4 sent home, lucky to be alive.
Another 10 minutes and we wouldn't have found them. We would have lost sight of them from the ship, and the guys in the rescue boat would have had a very difficult job finding them.
With their sunken ski boat left to be retrieved from the bottom of the bay. Jordan Quinn, 7 News.
Homicide squad detectives are grilling a man over a woman's death in Melbourne's east. Jacqueline Stanley is live in Bayswater, and Jack, there's a murder probe underway after police made the grim discovery.
Just after 11 this morning, Mitch, and police were quick to make an arrest. They have a 39-year-old Bayswater man in custody, arresting him just 40 minutes after her body was discovered. Homicide detectives have been here all day collecting evidence, and they've also been paying close attention to a bus stop less than 2 k's away from the woman's home. One neighbour has told me he believes the woman, who we understand is a mother, lived here alone. Another says he's heard several screams in the middle of the night. The sound, he says, was horrific. Police are yet to lay any charges. Mitch.
Jacqueline Stanley in Bayswater, thank you. Callous thieves have targeted 2 primary schools in Melbourne's north, leaving one closed without power and the other without water. The school year had only just begun. Now more than 200 children are forced to stay home.
Just 3 weeks into the school year, Carlo Acutis Catholic Primary is closed after thieves broke into the school's substation, stealing copper wiring. It's cut power to the entire campus.
We shouldn't be doing that, the kids and all that, so yeah, it's pretty bad.
It meant we were without power throughout the entire site, so that creates a major headache for school operations.
All 220 students now forced to homeschool. Families urgently contacted, asked to come in and collect books and supplies, told they'll need to teach their children at home this week. How will that go?
It's boring for kids.
We're unsure of how long this will take for power to be reinstated, but it does feel a little bit like we've gone back to COVID days, which has sent a shiver up our spines.
Less than a kilometre away at Barrawang Primary, vandals cut the water supply. The school remaining open today, but forced to bring in portaloos and crates of bottled water for its students. Record copper prices are driving up thefts, with schools becoming increasingly common targets, leading to serious disruptions and costly repairs.
It impacts not only lighting and also air conditioning, of course, being such a hot day today, but also a number of other things that school bells and alarms and all security systems, gates, all those things that are so important in the safety of children in a school.
And Ainsley Kosh is in Wollert tonight. Ainsley, the attacks have prompted security upgrades.
Yes, Mitch, the school has already beefed up security this evening. As you can probably see behind me, there are guards patrolling the campus this evening. There is some temporary fencing that's been installed on the grounds as well as workers try to reinstate power as quickly as possible. The school still doesn't know when it can reopen. Police have confirmed to us they are investigating if both of those incidents are linked, and they want anyone with information to come forward tonight. Mitch.
Ainsley Kosh in Wollert, thank you. The consumer watchdog is taking on Coles in the federal court in what's being labelled the case of the century. The supermarket giant is accused of misleading shoppers with fake discounts, claims it denies.
The beginning of a bombshell case.
This is the case of the century.
As the ACCC drags Coles into the federal court, accusing the supermarket giant of ripping off its customers with fake discounts.
It affects everyday shoppers battling the cost of living crisis.
240 common household items, including Arnott's shapes and Band-Aids, will be used as evidence. The ACCC claims there's a pattern of Coles selling popular products at a regular price before increasing the cost temporarily and then slashing it as part of its discount campaign. The court heard Coles priced Nature's Gift dog food at $4 for 9 months before jacking up the cost to $6 for a week and then dropping it to $4.50 on sale. Counsel for the ACCC told the court the statement was literally true. The dog food was $6, but it was also utterly misleading. You're not lowering the cost of living. You're not driving prices down.
86% of people are concerned about the cost of groceries. Specials and promotions have a real pull and influence on how we make decisions at the supermarket.
Coles is denying the allegations. Court documents reveal the retailer will argue price hikes are the result of rising costs related to suppliers, packaging, freight and global markets.
The potential fines will be in the hundreds of millions if the case is proved.
It could also open the door for customers to claim cash back. The watchdog is mounting a similar case against Woolworths. Christy Mayer, 7 News.
Victoria is facing another day of extreme bushfire conditions with a total fire ban beginning at midnight across 5 districts, including Melbourne.
So that added risk of potential fire starts due to the lightning and also the instability will make it a little bit more challenging for firefighters tomorrow.
3 bushfires remain at advice level, and meteorologist Jane Bunn will break down the forecast shortly. There's been a bombshell arrest in the search for missing 4-year-old boy Gus Lamont. Hannah Ford joins us now from Peterborough in South Australia's mid-north. Hannah, the little boy's grandparent has been charged with firearms offences.
That's right, Peter. Josie Murray drove herself here, where she remained for about an hour before she was given police bail. However, those firearms charges aren't believed to be linked to the little boy's likely death. The 75-year-old was arrested as police investigating Gus Lamont's disappearance returned to the remote homestead where he was last seen. But this search is very different to the 8 others conducted before. It's the first one since the case was declared a major crime 12 days ago, and police are now focused on finding evidence to support their criminal investigation. They already have a suspect, someone who's close to Gus, but it's not his parents. There will be more searching tomorrow, likely at another property in the area before police return to Adelaide. Meanwhile, Josie Murray will face court here in Peterborough on those firearms charges on May 6. Back to you.
Hannah Ford in Peterborough, thank you. Accused Bondi terrorist Naveed Akram has fronted court for the first time. Wearing prison greens, the 24-year-old uttered just 2 words in what was largely legal housekeeping.
Has he indicated any intention on what he'll plead?
Look, at this stage it's early.
Akram is facing 59 charges, including 15 for murder. 7 News has seen a draft of the Coalition's secret immigration master plan that was supposed to be revealed by Susan Lee, featuring a cap on migration and a blacklist of countries consumed by terror. It's overshadowing Angus Taylor's own policy pitches.
Well, thanks, Sachin.
The new leader, under the watch of the old leader, signals he has ideas.
Our borders have been open to people who hate our way of life.
Angus Taylor speaking as 7 News learns details of a coalition migration policy previous leader Susan Lee had planned to release today. A promise to remove 100,000 visa overstayers and others not granted refugee status. An operation to toughen visa screening. As well, visas refused or withdrawn for breaches of Australian values.
We shouldn't discriminate based on race or religion, but we should based on values.
The Lee policy also banning immigrants from Islamic extremist-controlled regions of 13 countries.
An echo of something from the America First agenda under Trump.
And extending a ban on foreign purchases of housing, tighter limits on foreign students, and a cut to net overseas migration of about 100,000 a year. Angus Taylor may well break from plans set up under the previous leader. Either way, the new leader is under pressure to make his mark with new policy.
The numbers have to be lower, there's no doubt.
One migration expert tells us promises to reduce net overseas migration are a dog whistle to supporters because governments can't control numbers departing Australia.
That is a dog whistle, and this is a particular type of dog whistle that is very common in migration policy across liberal democracies.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
Police believe an elderly man kidnapped from his Sydney home in a shocking case of mistaken identity is still alive. Officers say the clock is ticking. With new evidence, he's been tortured.
It's the new photograph too shocking to show. Grandfather Chris Bagzarian's finger severed.
It's distressing to see an 85-year-old man in that condition.
This latest image circulated around Sydney's underworld just days after a video emerged of the widower bashed and bloodied. Police intensifying calls to his captors to let him go.
Please release Mr Bagzarian. Let us know where he is. We're looking to get him the assistance and the medical assistance and treatment that he requires.
The 85-year-old was abducted from his North Ryde home around 5 a.m. on Friday. 3 disguised men bundling him into the back seat of a Toyota four-wheel drive, which was later torched.
I'm 1,000,000% confident that they have the wrong person. Mr Bagzarian's family are not involved in any criminal world.
Police say Mr Bagzarian's family has not received a ransom. In most kidnapping cases, demands are made for a hostage's release, but so far there's been nothing.
All they want is their father to be returned, their grandfather to be returned.
And police don't know why he's still being held captive when his kidnappers know they have the wrong person. Clementine Cuneo, 7 News.